Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on a Shillings dwarf holly. This is a male dwarf of the Yaupon holly, which is native to southeast United States. And this tree is, or was, purchased at the exact same time as yesterday's tree that I worked on. I did a major cutback. I can't really cut that because I may need that. But I think you can see right here that there's just a nasty scar. Let's zoom in a little bit. Whole bunch of dead. Let me get my clippers. Whole bunch of dead growth right where the cutback just died. So, and then of course, as in a lot of my videos, I had planned on this being the front, or this, based on the pot. But now there's just really nothing to work with. And so I'm really thinking that this would make a better front, because especially the thickness of the trunk is much more pronounced right here. So the first order of business is to just get rid of the really, really low stuff. The Shillings holly is what they call bottom dominant. So it doesn't really grow super tall, which is apical dominance. If you cut a Shillings way back and then do nothing with it, it will literally just form another irregular ball. So, and I have to confess that I wired this tree and then I left the wire on too long, so I have wire scars, and I'm choosing this as the front, so the wire scars are just going to be right there, right in your face. But you know, they're there, and I did it, and I forgot I had wire on them. And to tell you the truth, this tree was behind the tree I did yesterday. It was sort of like one of those set it and forget it kind of thing. Then I just totally forgot it even had wire. So we have to deal with what we've got. So I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff, because this downward pointing stuff, and also the small stuff, doesn't need to be there. And I think you can see the wire scars now. Oh, come on. Maybe cut it perpendicularly and you'll have a better chance. Okay, there we go. So there's the wire scars. Right there and right there. And actually down here, although it's not that noticeable there. And so I'm basically going to take this back part, all this back part, which has some very funky growth going on, and get rid of it. Also, if this is the front, we've got this growth here coming from the base of this branch, and I don't think I'm going to need any of that either. So it comes off. And I want some, there's an older branch. Let me cut this guy away. See, this is much older, but boy, it sure is, I don't know, it just doesn't look healthy. Another small sucker from the bottom that we don't want. Take that whole thing off. And I'm just going to take this whole thing off too. And I suppose I should probably try to clean up this scar. But at this point I'm just going to leave it. And I think this is going to be my back branch. As they say in Ripley's, believe it or not. Oh no, does that mean I get a copyright strike? I don't think I'll ever get a copyright strike, because virtually everything I do, I've grown the trees myself. Alright, so there's the first main branch. We still have some very funky stuff going on here. Not the first main branch, the back branch. We come back to the quote-unquote front. I really think I need to get rid of that scar. And right away we have two bar branches, which makes the eyeball look, if you want to get real funky, we'll take all of this stuff off and bring this up as the leader and be woo, which it could be. Alright, so since our movement is like this and then back this way, this makes more sense as the first main branch because it's at the quote-unquote outside of the curve. Can I chop some of the old scar away? Actually, Shillings has very soft wood, so it can be prone to attack from insects too. So I'm just going to take this off completely. And if you watched my video yesterday, I took a whole bunch of stuff off, and this one's going to be pretty much the same. Okay, first main branch, we're going to take this off and then just shorten it all up. And the second main branch, I suppose to be this guy, which is also mighty funky. If funkiness can be mighty. And oh no, am I going to wire? I like Shillings because it's bottom dominant and because it breaks off of old wood and because it produces so much new growth when you do chop. I typically do clip and grow. Okay. I'm going to take this one. And you know, I may leave this guy here as the back branch and then cut it, because the back branch I have now on this big knob, it might work better to have this as the back branch. Right now I thought about using this as the back branch, but that's where all the big knobbiness is. Use this as the back branch, and they're both parallel to each other. So right now I can keep both, and I'll make that decision later. And you notice how I cut this so that the new growth is now horizontal. And if we're looking at it this way, you can see we've got this leader here which brings the tree forward, or this leader here which comes back and then forward. And I think I like the one in the back. We can perhaps just shorten this tremendously and end up getting just a little tuft of foliage here, because sometimes that can help with let's take it off. And now, since I'm in the mood for chopping stuff way back, I'm also going to use this as the leader right here. So I'm taking the whole rest of the top off. And we have another little branch. I suppose that could work. That's another branch. This really does need to be wired. Well, it sure is different than it was, that's for sure. Although I'm kind of liking it. And you know, I think I am going to wire. I'm going to wire this guy forward, the apex forward, and I'm going to wire this one forward too, and then cut it to right here. So then this would be the first main branch, or second main branch. And the two back branches are really giving me some confusion. Maybe if I take this guy off, shorten that guy tremendously. And this needs to be shortened too. And we have this funkiness coming off of here. So I can use the same wire to do both of those. So I need to stop the camera because I was not planning on wiring, so I don't have my wire with me. So I'm going to go get my wire. Whoa, it's way off. Why is it so far off? And now that I've chopped it all to pieces, it looks like just this tiny little thing in the frame. Anyway, I'll be back with the wire. So I'm going to use the same piece of wire to do both. And typically you want, if you're going to do that, you want the branches to be a little further apart. Because you normally want to wrap the trunk at least once. So I'm using a little heavier wire than I probably need, just to keep from having to do that, but still get the effect that I want. Whenever you wire, you want to wire at a 45-degree angle. And when we get way up to the top here, that really doesn't need wire. I just really need to pull the whole thing forward. As you're looking at my left arm again. Okay. So now pull the apex forward and a little bit further over this way, so now we have some decent movement. And I'm also going to chop the... I mean, if I'm going to chop everything, I may as well chop everything, right? And then we'll bring this guy forward too. And don't forget that you've got it on there. Okay, now ignoring that the wire is shooting way out. This is going to be an interesting tree. I hate the knob in the back though. In the camera you can't really see it, but I can see it, so just going to take that whole thing off. I may be able to do it with concave cutters, but if not, I brought heavier duty tool. Once again, Ilex. I think most holly has very soft wood, but Shillings very definitely does. Oh yeah, so no problem cutting through that with just concave cutters. Oh, I think I had some weeds in there that still have some roots hanging around. Oh, maybe I should have made that the front. I think this is a better front as far as thickness of the trunk. So there you go. And some of you may say, well, it's like you just started over. And yeah, I did. But doing this will produce a much, much nicer tree. And this tree is exactly the same age as the one I had yesterday, so I'm not sure if I have a picture of this tree. But if I do, I will show it to you right now. And if you don't see a picture, then I don't have a picture. So, purchased as a landscape shrub in winter of 2023, root pruned and cut way, way back and put in this bonsai pot in January of 2023. So this is only a year and a half. And normally I'm working on 2 to 5 years to really get a nice bonsai. It just takes that long. And I really have, I was really angry at the wire scars. Of course, the person to be angry at is the guy looking at me in the mirror. But I really think that's going to be a very interesting tree now. And you can't really appreciate how thick the trunk is compared to the tree. Maybe we can just see that trunk is huge. And if we do the rule of thirds, and this is a third of the way up the tree, then we have a third and a third and a third. So this tree is going to end up being a little bit bigger. Sorry about the truncated editing. The memory on my battery got full and it just shuts off. So, where were we? A third a third, and a third. Although this could even be a shorter tree and still look very nice, because there is another proportion which is called the golden mean, which is 1 to 1.6, which means that the first main branch is a little taller than a third. And I have to admit that when I first saw this tree, like I said, it was behind the one I did yesterday. When I first pulled it out, I was like, oh no, I mean, look at this thing. It had all that dead in the back, and it looked horrible. And then I found the wire scars on there, and I was like, oh, come on. But now I'm really liking it. I think this could be even nicer than the one I did yesterday. It'll have more character, let's put it that way. Yesterday's tree will be more classic bonsai, but this one could have sometimes funkiness on a tree, can create more character than you could ever try to apply yourself. So sometimes letting trees grow and just forgetting about them can actually create some interesting effects. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. When you subscribe and hit the notification bell, then you'll be notified every time I drop a new video, and you can watch this guy develop further. And the plan for this guy is the same as the plan for yesterday's tree. Both trees, I've modified the front, so they need to be root pruned, put into a different pot, or the same pot. Actually, this pot, if this tree is going to be as small as it is now, this pot is way, way too big. Because once again, the rule of pots is that the length of the pot should be about 2/3 the height of the tree, and this pot is at least 10 inches. So that means the tree ought to be 15. And this puppy here right now is only about 7, maybe, or 8. And I don't even this is about 3 inches. So even if we do the rule of thirds, we got 3, 6, 9. This is just way too big of a pot. So put it in a different pot, change the front, but all that has to happen in the dead of winter, which for me, the winter is different for everybody. For me, it's about between Christmas and the end of January, somewhere like that. You can sometimes get away with doing things in February, but things work much better for me when I'm root pruning my temperate trees from about Christmas Day up to the end of January. So that's going to be a while, but if you subscribe, it will come. And you know, you can subscribe and not hit the notification bell if you don't want to get notified, because I need subscribers. I'm really hoping to get to 300 by the end of the month. So if you could please help me out. I think I'm at 260 or something like that. So that would just be so fantastic. I truly appreciate everyone that has subscribed and the people that have commented. You know, I've got some really nice comments. So I truly, truly appreciate that very much. So I think I already said, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Leave a comment. And that's it for this guy. I really think he's going to be a fun tree to work on. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.